Mahiar.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Mahiar. How are you?
I'm
Welcome.
good, thank you.
Really excited for today's session because we will be doing some diamond talk.
Me too.
So, hi and welcome. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us in. I would like to begin by saying that diamonds have always captivated us with their beauty, with their shine, and with their radiance. And they are a symbol of everlasting love and commitment. But well, what most people don't know is that diamonds have also helped in the growth and expansion of global communities across the world. And we have Mahiar, who is the CEO of Uni.Diamonds, who's going to be talking to us about the true impact of diamonds. So over to you, Mahiar, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all your expertise.
A quick background about who Uni is. We are a
Yes.
fintech company that's focused purely on the diamond industry. We are providing technology, data information, pricing information, and also data for the industry. In
Right.
addition to that, we have a sales platform, Uni.Diamonds, which actually
Mm-hmm.
helps our partners who are manufacturers sell directly to retailers and jewelry manufacturers and wholesalers. And we take care of everything from logistics to insurance and all other
Nice.
aspects, but we also provide financing into the industry.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
interesting to
Uni in
know.
a very, very quick nutshell of what we do and who we are as an organization.
Right. Uh,
Um, yeah, sorry.
so first of all, I would like to know how did you know that diamonds were your true calling?
Ooh, what a um, So when I was a teenager, I started actually when I was about 19 years old. I grew up in a city called Salt Lake City, Utah, in the state
Mm-hmm.
of Utah in the U.S. And because of the high LDS community or large LDS
Okay.
community in that city, a lot of people
Right.
were getting married at the age of 19. So
Okay.
I became kind of a buddy that would go and help people buy diamond rings, engagement
Interesting.
rings, and it made me actually really try and push and understand or teach myself about diamonds, about polished diamonds.
Lovely. Lovely.
But post that, I went to school. I got my degrees. I went to San Francisco and went to school there. And then post school, I graduated, went into consulting, went into business management. And I ended up in the diamond industry, interestingly enough, because a friend of mine who was at the consulting firm that I was at before
Okay.
joining or starting a business, um, he sent me a global search for the executive director of De Beers managing the sales and
Nice.
marketing division.
Right.
And I thought, what a great opportunity to work
Of
with
course.
the people who started the diamond industry and who created what the diamond industry is today. Uh, and
Absolutely.
and and that's how I joined them. And
Lovely.
that's where my tale ends and my journey in the diamonds begin.
Now, that's a really incredible journey. So, please tell us that how do natural diamonds help in the development of community?
So it's actually interesting. You
Okay.
showed a picture on the screen that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but I think there are three different segments of our industry that we can be focusing on, and how each one actually helps the development of the communities and the people around them.
Mm-hmm.
On the upstream side, you have the mining companies, De Beers,
Right.
Alrosa, Rio Tinto, Dominion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In the midstream, you have the manufacturers and wholesalers, and in the downstream, you have the retail partners.
Wow.
Now, each one has really focused on developing the
Mm-hmm.
socio-economical environment of the places, the local areas that they're in very, very different ways, but very effective ways. On
Okay.
De Beers and Alrosa, for example, De Beers
Right.
has mines in Botswana, Namibia, Canada, South
Correct.
Africa. Alrosa, the most important area is Yakutia in Russia. And if you look at the amount of money and what they do in those environments and how they
Mm-hmm.
actually help support those environments, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Beneficiation in Botswana and also now in Russia actually brings the technology of and understanding of how to polish diamonds within the countries that
Okay.
they're being polished
Okay.
in. So that
Right.
not only helps actually build a new community and new skill within those
Right.
countries, but it
Right.
also kind of creates a halo factor. Why? Because
Hmm.
then you have, restaurants, and you have food,
Absolutely.
taxis, and so many different halo factor products that
Hmm.
come out of it, that allow people to actually be able to be interested and invest in the economy of that country.
Absolutely.
In India, I mean, it's it's
Mm.
it's very important to think and consider what the manufacturers have done.
Right.
You have, what more than 500,000, maybe close to about 1 million of
Right.
direct polishers who
Right.
work in India. If you
Hmm.
think about the economy that the manufacturing, the polishing of diamonds have created within Mumbai and
Hmm.
Surat
Oh.
and Bhavnagar and areas
Hmm.
around it, it's incredible because now you have people who were perhaps in other trades and not as lucrative as the diamond industry, gaining experience, becoming stronger, and becoming
Right.
leaders and managers within those companies.
Hmm.
And with that comes salary, and comes the ability to be able to
Absolutely.
buy houses, buy
Wow.
bicycles, motorcycles, and
Nice.
really live a life.
And live a life.
It helps in so many ways. And on the downstream, I mean, with the retailers around the world, I don't need to explain the
Right.
amount of work that they do to create that sort of bringing back economy
Mm.
into the states and cities and countries that they are in. But really great stuff that
Right.
they do. The picture that you're showing, I want to
Right.
highlight. I took that picture
Oh, nice.
in 2007 or 2008. We were in
Okay.
South Africa at the Venetian mine, and there
Lovely.
was a group of children who were basically doing this kind of song and dance and event for everyone who had come
Hmm.
to the Venetian mine. And when I asked about who these kids are, they said that these kids are actually all HIV positive
Oh.
from birth. Um,
Oh.
and what De Beers has done
Hmm.
is sponsored their medications and helped
Nice.
actually give them a normal life. You know,
That's
these
amazing.
are these are things that I think we as an industry do not really talk about. That when we're in an
Yes.
environment where HIV is a big challenge, you help and support and make sure that you're developing and you're creating an environment for them to be safe and better. In fact, I think De Beers recently sent out a document where they talked about since the time that they actually rolled out a program in the workplace about 10
Okay.
years ago on teaching their employees and everyone about
Okay.
HIV awareness, etc.
Right. Right.
10 years now, they have not had a single child that has been born with HIV
Positive.
as an HIV positive child.
That's
So,
lovely.
the education, the work, the hard
Work.
work and efforts that people put in really matter. And this is an
Absolutely.
exemplification of that, of what it can really do. And it's wonderful to actually be able to share stories like this.
Absolutely. So, continuing further, since you spoke about mining companies, I would like you to highlight as to what you mean by the Kimberley process.
Ah, all right. So the Kimberley certification scheme,
Right.
it's um, I don't well, I won't be political about this. Um,
Okay. Yes.
I think a lot of people give the Kimberley certification process and Kimberley certification scheme a bad
Mm-hmm.
rep, and
Right.
why? It's
Mm-hmm.
because it's there fully. There's no other way of putting it. There is no other mineral, precious
Right.
mineral or non-precious mineral,
Absolutely.
no metal, gold, platinum, nothing. There is
Nothing.
nothing else in this world that actually has been able to accomplish what the diamond industry has been able to accomplish.
Yes.
Many years ago, Nikki Oppenheimer said, what we produce, what we mine, is
Right.
something that is incredible, and it is above and beyond any standard, which is why
Wow.
we have to give it the diamond standard. Now,
Right.
the Kimberley certification scheme is a part of that. Imagine having the United Nations, the
Mm-hmm.
countries within the United Nations,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
civil society, all the NGOs
Right.
or key NGOs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the mining companies and organizations within the diamond industry coming together and
Lovely.
coming up with a process that
Right.
every single diamond that is in rough form that needs to be
Mm.
exported from one country to another
Right. Right.
must have an approval from the
Okay.
government that is a certificate, which they call the Kimberley certificate, that
Okay.
allows that diamond to be able to move from one
Move.
country to another. No
Lovely.
other mineral, no other precious
Right.
stone has been able
Right.
to accomplish this. So
Lovely.
when people are saying, oh, Kimberley certification scheme may not be doing as much, well,
Yes.
just stop.
Right.
It's true that we could be doing more. It's true that there
Mm-hmm.
could be even more that can be done. However,
Okay.
when you look at it in reality, it's
Right.
doing a lot more than what anyone else has ever been able to accomplish in any other industry.
That's
So,
interesting to
it's a
know.
phenomenal thing to actually have and be proud of for our industry.
Hmm. Wow, that's something really informative. So, I would now like to know that a diamond actually passes through a lot of procedure. It goes through a manufacturer, it goes through a retailer. Until then, that's how we can adorn these beautiful gems. So, I would like to hear from you the contribution from the manufacturer and the retailer, towards the development of the community and the impact of diamonds.
Sure. So, we talked about upstream, midstream, and downstream.
Right,
I'll talk about midstream and some of the things they do. I still feel that there's a heck of a lot on the upstream that we also need to
right,
touch on. But,
right.
I'll pick a few examples because I think
Mm-hmm.
they're important. A company in India, a manufacturer named Lakshmi,
Okay.
actually does a phenomenal project where they are working with the extremely poverty-stricken families and those kids who do not have parents. They're
Hmm.
actually technically adopting them, about
Mm-hmm.
4,500 or so, give or take, of
Mm-hmm.
children from the age of 4 to the age of 18. They feed them, house them, educate
Wow,
them,
lovely.
and what do they ask for in return? Nothing.
Oh, lovely.
And the best ones, by the way, get scholarships to some of the best schools around the world and are educated for free because of where they came from and because of what they've gone. So imagine going from the extremely poverty-stricken
Absolutely.
environments and then being able to be protected, supported,
Right, right.
and really be able to then take your life to a different place.
Yes.
How wonderful is it to actually be able to have that? And when you speak to the owner of the company and you
Mm-hmm.
ask him, why don't you talk about this? Why do you not put this out more and more and more?
On
He
media, right.
says, my education level is not so high. I didn't do this because I wanted to market or advertise this.
Right,
I did
right.
this because I thought it was the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's the theme that you hear over and over and over. Savantalal
Mm.
Shah from Venus Jewel, the
Yes.
founder, one of the founders of Venus Jewel,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he has really focused on this Venus Jewel hospital. Now, this used to be the
Right.
oldest hospital in Surat.
Okay.
They've taken it over, just like
Okay.
the manufacturers that they are, and I would know because I used to work with Venus
Right.
for many years. They are very focused and very driven on making sure that they are doing everything precisely correct. So what did
Lovely.
they do in this hospital?
Right.
They basically said, you know what? You will pay based on how much you have as a human being. If you're a wealthy
Okay.
person, you pay more. If you're not, you don't.
Lovely.
They
Seriously.
balanced it out
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that the hospital
Mm-hmm.
is providing the same care, the same consistency, the same appreciation for any individual that walks into that hospital
That's
without the
amazing.
need to think that you're rich, you're not, you're wealthy, you're
Right.
poor, you can't come
Right.
into this hospital. No.
Right.
If you are
Right.
in need of in need of a treatment, Venus is there.
You're
You know,
welcome.
and again,
Hmm.
when I was working at Venus, I asked Avanti Bhai, please
Mm-hmm.
let me talk about this.
Right.
And he said, no, it's
No.
not the right thing to do. We don't do this because we want to get fame. We do this
Right.
because it is our duty.
Lovely. How nice is that?
And there are other examples. Kiran's Hospital, the largest hospital in the
Right.
area. What
Mm-hmm.
Kiran and a few other children and
Mm.
bringing low income housing into a place where people can actually be educated. Children, girls specifically, can
Right.
be
Right.
educated from the age of 4 to the age of 18. They have a really beautiful project that's in one of their
Right.
facilities. And it's just so heartwarming to go there and see the excitement and the joy that the
I'm
kids have,
sure. I'm
and
sure.
be able to appreciate what these diamond companies have been able to bring back to their
Right.
countries. It's
Right. Right.
so wonderful to see. And
Absolutely.
I actually remembered another company, Delumi in Botswana. They
Okay.
actually have a children's village which does a very similar thing to what companies like Sheetal and Lakshmi do in India.
Okay.
They have a similar product or similar idea for kids in Botswana.
Okay.
And there are 245 kids, about 245 kids that are actually helped, supported, and housed, and fed and educated throughout this process.
It's
So,
so commendable.
this is why it's so wonderful to see all of these companies. And by the way, these are not the only companies that are doing this.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
can give you if you look at the diamond companies
Right.
that buy from Alrosa, from De Beers, from Rio
Mm-hmm.
Tinto. Every single one of them, irrelevant of where they are, in Belgium, in Israel, in Hong Kong, or in India,
Right.
all
Right.
of them do something, not because they have to,
Because
because they
they
want to.
it's yes, it's from their heart. They're just doing it selflessly
Exactly.
just to give it to the society and to help with the development.
Exactly. And
So
just imagine
lovely.
having 1 million people working in India, and
Right.
the halo factor that it creates.
Hmm.
We didn't actually really talk about all of the wonderful things that people do on the upstream in detail. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at, I'll give you some highlights, examples like De Beers Gem Fair,
Right.
going back
Yes.
to artisanal mining, and really helping support the artisanal miners get to a standard which is an acceptable standard,
Mm-hmm.
and raising their hand and saying, we know that this area needs to be focused on. And we know that this is an area that, we as a large mining company can put our hands up and say, it's not us, it's them. But we
Hmm.
realize they need help. So we are willing to actually put our hearts and efforts and soul into it, make sure that people are getting paid fair wages, make sure that people are getting the help that they need, the education
Mm-hmm.
that they need, the healthcare that they need, the environment, the safety
Right.
environment that they
Right.
need
Oh,
to do
safety.
artisanal mining,
Hmm.
and be able to deliver what they need to. If you look at the entrepreneurial work that De Beers has been doing in Botswana and South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and also in Namibia.
Mm-hmm.
700 entrepreneurs, 7,500 people are supported by De Beers, and they are funding them to actually help them grow and develop and become stronger and better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the work that De Beers did with the UN Women,
Right. Oh, yes.
it's phenomenal,
Commendable. Yes, it
and
is.
also helping 1,200 women entrepreneurs being
Yes.
able to actually make a difference in Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. These are phenomenal things, and you know where it all rooted from? It rooted from the desire to make sure that
Right.
this industry gets to a different level. The best
Right.
practice principles that originated even before I had entered De Beers really is I think the standard that set everything apart.
Totally.
They look at 2,800 entities every year. That's
Wow.
350,000 people, to make
That's
sure that they're
crazy.
paid correctly, they're
Right.
treated fairly,
Right.
their work environment is
Mm-hmm.
is is okay. There's the social impact of those companies are positive. Yeah,
Right.
it's just really wonderful things that the mining companies have done. Alrosa,
Absolutely.
if you look, I mean, it's just one statement.
Mm-hmm.
3% of their entire revenues goes to social and responsible support, right? They are putting 3% of their entire revenues and putting it towards charity.
Lovely.
That's not
So
a
my
small amount. That's
it's
$160
crazy.
million of investment.
Wow.
It's unbelievable,
Wow.
and this is just on that. We haven't
Wow.
even talked about what they are doing, both De Beers Alrosa and Rio
Hmm.
Tinto and Dominion on the SGDs, on
Right.
Sustainable Development
That's
Goals.
right.
It goes beyond. Now, if we go downstream to the retailers, and I know that's where you
Yes.
want to be,
Yes, yes.
there are two programs that are near and dear to my heart,
Okay.
and I think they provide such an incredible impact in the world. One of
Right.
them is Jewelers for Children,
Okay.
which started in the U.S.
Okay.
And Jewelers for Children has really been able to help kids that need that additional support and help, either kids who are extremely sick,
Right.
either kids who are in need of something, either medication or support or a surgery, or even they want to meet their favorite star.
Oh,
It
how
just
sweet.
depends. So many variety of things that Jewelers for Children actually links into to help support kids who are in need of help. They started in America. They've now
Right.
started positioning it in other countries, including India, to help
Nice.
support children who are in need. And a lot of them, well, all of the major
Right.
retailers
Right.
actually support this. If I look at, like, for example, Ben Bridges
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yes.
groups, Ben Bridges is actually, I believe, the company is on the board of Jewelers for Children, and there are many other major retailers and smaller retailers who are working
Right.
to help kids in need.
Right.
So Jewelers for Children is one. The Diamond Empowerment Fund is another one. And Diamond Empowerment Fund basically goes back to the root of everything. So where are kids that are in need of
Hmm.
solid education, that are in
Right.
need of a scholarship, that are in need of getting better? So imagine
Right.
going to India, going to South Africa, going to Botswana, and finding those real great brains,
Hmm.
those smart people that really just all they need is a chance.
Is a chance.
and
Absolutely.
and being able to touch them and being able
Hmm.
to actually provide the support that they need to be successful.
Right.
These are the
Right.
things our industry does.
How lovely.
And why aren't we talking about it? Why
We
aren't we
so need to.
saying
Right.
that
Right.
these
No,
are the things that we do?
we really need to. So, Mahir, I'm so amazed hearing your great experience, and your great knowledge. So, I would like to know that how has the entire industry evolved over a period of time?
Oh, wow. Um, so we did this marketing that said join the revolution.
Okay.
A small R with a big R with a small E.
Okay.
I think our industry is a phenomenal industry, and it's an industry built on trust.
Absolutely.
And that trust has taken us to an extensive place where no one else has ever been able to get to in other industries.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you still have handshakes finishing a
Mm.
deal.
Mm-mm. Yes.
It still is very unique in many ways. But what I've seen
Absolutely.
is more of a professionalism has come into that part of the industry, and
Right.
being able to actually bring technology, bring innovation, and bring some great systems and processes to be able to take rough and make it into polish has
Right.
really helped make our industry a different industry. I would
It
say
has.
it's evolving, but I would
Right.
really love to say it's at a point of revolution. It really is
Absolutely.
about to revolt and become something different.
It will.
People are understanding they need technology. They need to be able to
Needs.
do things. In the past 6 months since COVID,
Right. Yes.
I I used to have diamanters tell me, I cannot buy a diamond unless I see it. Well, guess
Right.
what?
You have a solution.
Online platforms have increased. Number
Yes.
of platforms that are showing diamonds have increased.
Absolutely.
And sales within platforms are increasing day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On our side, on Uni, we
Yes.
understand that there's this need. This is why we've created what we've done. When you go onto Uni.Diamonds and
Yes.
you're actually looking for diamonds to purchase,
Mm-hmm.
when you pick the diamond or diamonds that you want to look at, we will take the stones, and
Okay.
we will ship it to your office or your location. You will QC
Okay.
the stones, pick what you want. We
Okay.
invoice you for that. What you don't want comes back,
That's
and it
lovely.
goes back to our partners. But what we're doing is really creating a very sophisticated technology process that
I'm
allows
sure.
us to be able to use our partnership with Malka Amit
Okay.
and really develop something that is much bigger than any other platform out there can do. We're
Nice.
actually providing everything from data, what market prices are,
Okay.
to
Okay.
selling diamonds, to
Okay.
logistics and insurance, and making sure that every stone that you take from us is taken to you, and we take that cost. We don't charge you
Lovely.
for it. It's all on us. Why? Because we believe in an end-to-end process. For those diamanters who still say, I need to look at the stone before I buy it, guess
Right.
what?
Right.
There's Uni. For those who feel like, I can buy it directly, great, there's Uni.
Nice.
Everything on our platform is live. So you know that the diamond that's available there is a diamond that you can buy. And that's what we're actually providing. Confidence, trust, and
Right.
the ability for people to know what they're buying is exactly what they want.
What they want. So tell me that this platform that's available across worlds, like whether people from India, USA, Russia, anywhere, any part of the world, you need something, just log on to your website, and that's how people can get access to.
Correct, correct. And
Nice.
because of our partnership with Malka Amit,
Right.
we've been able to actually use their 70 plus different offices all around the world,
Lovely.
and have it be as a part of our office. We have this thing called smart logistics, which we're working on creating an AI that actually shows where are the places around the world that certain stones can get sold, and
Okay.
how
Okay.
quickly they can be sold.
Mm-hmm.
We have an AI that's looking at pricing information to
Mm-hmm.
understand exactly where market
Mm-hmm.
prices are, how market
Mm-hmm.
prices are trending, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
because we have all of these different locations and our capabilities
Right.
and the expertise of the biggest diamond logistics company in the world, Malka Amit, we can really be able to transition things all around the world for our customers without any issues or problems.
Absolutely. So tell me that what do you see the future of diamond industry to be? Since the whole world is yet overcoming the whole COVID phase. So what's the future of diamond industry going to be like?
I think it's going to be very different than what it has been. Honestly,
Okay.
it's you know you had 10 site and 12 sites on the rough where people would
Mm.
actually travel to look at
Mm-hmm.
rough. I
Right.
think people are going to realize and are realizing that that is not the way that diamonds are going to be sold in the future on the rough side. And I feel the
Okay.
same way on the polish. There
Right.
are virtual trade shows that are happening,
Right.
somewhat
Yes.
happening.
Somewhat
It's
happening.
it's
Yes.
not as successful for the virtual trade shows yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I foresee, retailers and jewelry manufacturers and others really understanding, you know, I used to go to 7 trade shows or 12 trade shows a year. There's a
Okay.
cost of me being away from
Oh
my
yeah.
business for that long, right?
Of course.
And
Of
and
course.
and the hour differences and everything
Mm-hmm.
else. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what is the future really going to hold is going to have to be that there's going to be a lot more technology, a lot more savviness around purchasing, buying,
Mm-hmm.
and expanding. And I think with the push blockchain and knowing the
Right.
information about your diamonds and knowing the
Mm-hmm.
origin of diamonds and
Mm-hmm.
such, you're going to get some really incredible data and information that are going to come in to retailers. And then
Mm-hmm.
the retailers have this beautiful opportunity to talk about
Mm-hmm.
the uniqueness of every single diamond. We always talk about diamonds, not there's not two diamonds in this world that are
Right.
exactly alike,
Yes.
right? And
Absolutely.
and and that is exactly the same thing as two individuals. Even though you might be identical twins, there are
Mm-hmm. Oh
still
yeah.
slight differences between
For
you,
sure. Yes.
right?
For sure.
And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with diamonds. You can make two beautiful flawless diamonds, and
Hmm.
they are exact same length, width, depth, everything is the same. But guess what? Their faceting would be slightly different than the
Yeah.
other. Their
Right.
shine and scintillation might be slightly different
Right.
than the other
Right.
stone. And
Right.
and by the way, that impacts the overall pricing
Right. Of
of each
course.
individual diamond, which
Right.
on the technology side, we've been able to master with looking at
Mm,
24 different unique characters of a diamond.
right,
But you look at this uniqueness of each stone, and you can then communicate that to the consumer,
right.
and have them fall in love with the story of a
Mm,
diamond. And
that's
and
important.
today everyone says, yeah, but what's on Blue Nile? That's what my competition is. Yeah.
Right,
If
right,
if we continue to do that, our industry is going to continue to struggle.
right,
If
right.
we really think about ways to be able to make ourselves stand out,
Out. That's important.
and a prime example, an Hermes
Mm-hmm.
bag.
Mm,
Hermes
absolutely. Yes,
has leather, has a buckle,
yes, yes.
um, nothing really special, right?
Yeah.
But what they've been able to accomplish is create that specialness through the processes that they put on the material that they use, the time
Right.
and effort that they put
Effort.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you look at how an Hermes bag is presented to a consumer, it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
having a child. You want to see how we present a diamond
Oh,
to
for
someone?
sure. For sure. We would
Let's
love to
see.
see
Hold
that.
on. Where's that parcel of? There you go. There. This is how we present a diamond to a consumer.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And Hermes bag has a bag within a bag within a bag, and
Wow.
throughout the time that they're opening each one, they talk about the way that the leather was crafted. The
How
stitching is made by
lovely.
one line of thread.
Mm-hmm.
The thread was made by this. The hand craftsmanship of the product. It's beautiful. I agree. It's
Right,
wonderful. People
right,
should be paying
right.
for it.
For
This
sure.
is a product that Mother Earth
Mm.
developed
Yeah, oh,
more
yes.
than 1 billion years ago,
Yes.
all by chance.
All by chance. Yes.
And we talk about it as a parcel of paper.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
sad.
is what we need to change.
Yeah. That parcel of paper has a lot of value, has a lot of emotions, has so much of hard work, passion, dedication, right from the mining stage till the time when it's come to the factory for polishing, for the trading. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. The
yeah,
entire journey of diamonds from mines to
yeah.
market is just so unbelievable.
And if you look at some of the manufacturers, they actually have that on the parcel paper. When you open the parcel paper, you'll see kind of the rough information, how that stone was
Right.
sawed, and
Yes.
everything else that you see, and
Yes.
you see the
Yes.
origin. You open it up and you look at the die. It's already in the parcel paper.
It's already in the parcel.
Parcel paper. If a blue box can be made so popular and incredible by a company called Tiffany,
Tiffany. We have to do
we,
that.
we,
We
we
sure.
should we should we should think about what we need to do with
Oh,
diamonds.
for
We
sure, for
really do.
sure. We really need to. We really, really need to because I think there's nothing as more valuable, as more precious than
Yeah.
a natural diamond.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And
Yes,
the slogan of a diamond is forever is
yes.
is very very dear to me because when I talk about diamonds, I always talk
Mm-hmm.
about the eternal aspect of it. The reason why it represents love, or
Hmm.
it represents a relationship, or love for yourself, for that matter.
Right.
It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
absolutely,
It
absolutely.
it's because if you think about it, love in its true essence, the
Mm-hmm.
butterfly feelings that you get at
Mm-hmm.
first when
Mm-hmm.
you feel that connection is there between two people. To simplify that with the hardest substance in the world that
Mm.
has unique characteristics within it, just like the
Oh, so
relationship between
beautiful.
two people or within
So
yourself.
beautiful. Right.
That is why a diamond is what it is today, is because it represents that ultimate love. And that's why
Love.
we really
Mm-hmm.
do need to keep diamonds at a
Oh,
higher
for
standard.
sure. We need to.
That's why the Kimberley certification scheme needs to continue to evolve and become stronger and better. That's why we need to focus on the SGDs and make sure we're doing everything. That's why we as an industry need to focus on working with RJC, providing origin of our diamonds,
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
giving consumers what they want, which is the
Mm-hmm.
story of the diamond
Mm.
itself.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
keep doing that and we keep moving forward and improving our technology, we're going to be in a phenomenal place.
Oh, yeah. And I guess that we all have to do this by working together because unitedly, I'm sure that we all can achieve so much, if we all, the entire diamond community, right from the miners to the manufacturers, retailers, we all just need to be united as one solid rock, and
I,
really work towards the expansion of our industry.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, when we were trying to understand the right name for our organization and our company,
Right. Yes.
um, you know, you and I, you know, play on words as it might
Playing
be,
on words.
but
Yes.
really, really for us, it was we wanted to unite the diamond industry. You know,
Oh,
our
totally.
slogan is "In diamonds we
Diamonds we
trust."
trust.
Why?
Yes.
Because in
Mm-hmm.
every aspect of what we do, we're looking at diamonds and how we can actually bring trust back into our industry. When we're
Right.
providing
Right.
financing, we're looking
Mm-hmm.
at live market prices. We're
Mm-hmm.
looking at
Mm-hmm.
24 unique parameters. And we're
Mm-hmm.
combining the two to try and understand what is true market prices. But why are we
Mm-hmm.
doing this?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this because we want to ensure that the banks and
Mm-hmm.
the financing that the industry deserves can come
Right.
back to the industry. Because, you
That's
know,
so
the
true.
industry has been this mythical, mysterious thing for no reason at all. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it is a
Yeah.
business at the end of the
It's a
day.
business at the end
And
of the day.
and and we know what we need to do to make it a business
Yes.
that people are welcome to join
Right.
and be a part
Right.
of. We
Right.
just need to ensure that we get there together. And you are so right. United, we can get there.
For sure, for sure. So, next question, I would like to ask you that why should one invest in diamond? You know, especially in India, as you know, gold is considered to be the most invested commodity. So, what would you say that why should people invest in natural diamonds?
Ah, wow, where do I begin? Um, so, if I look at diamonds in any sense, you know, if you look at the overall trajectory and financing of diamonds, and we had
Right?
to do this when we were trying to get insurance for the
Mm-hmm.
investment that we're bringing in for Uni Capital to bring
Mm-hmm.
financing into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
um, you rarely see a large dip in prices. And when you do see a
Mm-hmm.
dip in prices, you see
Mm-hmm.
a quick recovery. If you look at the trends of diamond prices, they've
Mm-hmm.
continuously been raising in decade by decade by decade.
Right? Right?
So it is a positive area of investment,
Right?
long term, if you will. You know, it's not
Right.
a
That's true.
short term
Mm-hmm.
product to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's the same thing, you know, as gold and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once we get to a certain place where that trust
Hmm.
actually becomes something that the industry accepts,
Mm-hmm.
then it won't be very different than gold in being able to trade, buy, and
Mm-hmm.
sell diamonds
Mm-hmm.
in ways, and polish diamonds in ways that it
Right.
was not
Right.
capable before. If you look
Right.
at color diamonds and the
Right.
trajectory of
Mm-hmm.
color diamonds and how the prices have increased, you
Mm-hmm.
see that year over
For
year,
sure.
there's
For
been
sure.
a tremendous increase of prices
Mm-hmm.
for color diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they
Mm-hmm.
truly are rare.
They
You
are
know,
rare. So well
it's
said.
if it, when I was my team sold a very large amount, hundreds of millions of carats every year,
Lovely.
at De Beers. If I
Right.
consider the number of carats that were pink or blues,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I can count it on two, maybe three hands.
Whoa. Lovely.
Do you know what I mean?
And they're so rare. They're
It's
so, so, so rare.
Yeah, and you know, and another example, red diamonds.
Oh,
How many
for
plus
sure.
1 carat red diamonds do you think there are in the world? I just want to just take a wild guess. How many plus 1 carat reds are there in the world? 1 carat
So
and
rare.
above.
So rare, right?
Rare, yeah.
Absolutely.
How
Very
rare?
rare.
Somewhere between 70 to 90 plus 1 carat
Ooh.
uh, diamonds. Now remember,
Mm-hmm.
diamonds were found in 4th century BC.
Right.
From the 4th century BC till today, there are no more than 90, between 70 to 90, plus 1 carat red diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
That is all. You know,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
there's no other way to talk about rarity.
There's no
At
one.
the end
Yeah,
of the day,
absolutely.
data means everything. If you
Yeah.
look at diamonds that are plus 1 carat that are D flawless, they're less than
Okay.
0.1% of all diamonds that
Wow.
are around in the
Yes.
world. And yet, you know, when we talk about it, we think, oh, you know, people say, oh, diamonds are not rare. They're stuck in some mine somewhere. You know what? They're not. You know, they're not in a vault.
Oh, they're
The
not in a
vault is
vault.
gone. It
Yes.
was a long time ago in the past. we're
Yeah.
now in today's world. Let's talk about the reality of the
Mm-hmm.
situation. The
Mm-hmm.
reality of the situation is when you're actually looking for a mine, and there
Mm-hmm.
are many kimberlites that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
A small percentage of those kimberlites are diamond that contain diamond in them. And when you
Mm-hmm.
test to see if
Mm-hmm.
it's if you can, based on today's costs, if you can
Mm-hmm.
mine those
Mm.
kimberlites, you find that even a smaller percentage of them can be
Right.
mined. Do you know how long it
Right.
takes for one mine to actually start mining from the time of testing to the time of mining
Was it
that you
crazy
get your
long,
first
right?
diamond out? 10 years.
Look at the amount of time, efforts, compassion, and passion of
Yeah,
people that goes inside.
yeah. You know, it's
Unbelievable.
when De Beers came up with the man-made diamond company called Lightbox,
Yes.
it really shocked me of how the industry basically took it. And they took it in some ways like, oh, what's De Beers doing? Oh, this is
Right.
um, so if you look at the reality of the situation, De Beers spent what, 100, 200, maybe 300 million on Lightbox. They spent more than $1 billion
Brilliant.
to go underground in Venetia. They spent more than $1 billion on a mine that they hadn't even, they weren't even able to mine and get a diamond out of for 10
Yeah.
years,
Look at that.
right?
Look at
You
that.
think about the investment of long
Investment.
term,
Mm-hmm.
it's huge.
It's
So when you
huge.
compare
Absolutely.
that to the investment in something like man-made, which,
Um,
some consumers like, it's cheap, it's cheerful, it's fun.
yeah. Yeah.
I'd,
Yeah.
I'd love to give it to my kid because if he gets lost, whoop-de-doo, I don't care. It's fun.
Right.
It's
Right.
great. It's everyone, what's the saying? To all their own, right? Everyone has
To
a
each its own.
preference.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
For
to each
sure.
his own.
For sure. Yes.
Thank you. And for me, it makes sense if you're a business to focus on what's real and what you need to do. But when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about that relationship and that sentiment between two people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no one in their right mind is going to
Mm-hmm.
actually want to give something that simplifies love and internalness and strength and endurance with something
Mm-hmm.
that Uncle Bob made in his factory last week. It's
For
not going to
sure.
happen,
For sure. For
right?
sure.
You can own a Rembrandt, or you can
Right.
own a copy of a Rembrandt. You can own a Rolex, or you
Or
can
you can
own
own
not so Rolex, a Folex.
a,
So, at the end of the day, you know in your heart what you've done.
oh yeah, totally.
And if your symbol of love and relationship is about true strength, making it through the difficult times and the good times and the bad, talking about love
Love.
and eternalness,
Right?
that is a true diamond because it took more
Mm.
than 1 billion years to make
Oh
it
yeah.
and be here.
That's so beautiful. That's so
If you want
beautiful.
something that you want to give to someone that you don't care about, and next week that you will be with someone else,
Someone
give
else?
them a man-made diamond. Not a problem. It's like you said. What was the saying that you said? To what?
To each its own.
To each its own. There you go.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So now moving on, we would like to hear your words of inspiration to all the young, talented youth, who definitely want to make their presence and want to expand in the diamond industry.
Um, I'll give you what I was asked when
Yes.
I first joined the diamond industry
Mm-hmm.
by
Mm-hmm.
by our chairman.
Yes.
I went to his office and he asked me, young man,
Mm-hmm.
do you think you understand this industry well enough?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm learning, but to be honest
Right.
with you, every day I learn something new. And
Right.
he laughed and he said, my grandfather used to say
Mm-hmm.
that I've been in this industry for more than 50 years and today I'm still learning. So I think
So
that
true.
the one
So true.
recommendation that I have is never stop learning in this industry
Oh
and
yeah.
never push the envelope.
Okay. Hmm.
Because
That's
if
important.
if you think the same way, if you're a designer and if you think the
Right.
design should stay the same thing as the
Mm-hmm.
the regular stuff that are out there, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
pushing the envelope to make something incredible and
Mm-hmm.
give it that beauty that it deserves,
Mm-hmm.
Get inspired by the pieces. And it doesn't matter if it's diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, or a
Mm-hmm.
combination of.
Correct.
Everything should always have a diamond in it. Um,
Everything should have diamond in it.
um, I think the inspiration needs to come from within in order for the
For
product to really
sure.
show
Right.
and be beautiful. So never
Right.
give up on being
Mm-hmm.
creative, never
Mm-hmm.
stop learning, and never stop questioning.
Okay.
People get very, very upset at me because I'm constantly asking why,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they get irritated with me asking why. But
Mm-hmm.
I ask because I'm hoping A,
Learn.
I can learn better, but
For
B,
sure.
I'm hoping that they can actually question, you know what? Yeah, why do we do it this way?
Nice.
It's
Wow.
it's 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 worth asking those questions and
For
and
sure.
and trying to move things forward always.
Right, right. So tell me that is there any books of recommendation that you would like to share with us, which has inspired you probably?
Wow. That's so to that's a very, very, very a good question, and I'm gonna bring a couple of them now that
Oh,
you've asked.
lovely.
Now you're gonna make me actually bring them because it's
That's so
it's
kind of
it's
you.
it's something that I think is an interesting question,
Right.
and it's one that deserves an answer that
Wow.
that
Tell
you
me.
may like. So first of all, one of my favorite
So kind,
books is by Jeffrey Liker,
right?
The Toyota Way.
Mhm.
And as odd and as boring as you may think that this book sounds, it's one of the most incredible readings that you can have on how Toyota actually was able to create the lean Six Sigma management way and be able to actually move themselves into an incredible place. The Art of Possibility,
Okay.
really recommended, really recommended. Phenomenal book. Um, Capital, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. It will open up your mind. Giving onus to a consulting firm that some like and some don't, the McKinsey way. It helped me actually think different, and try and understand the way that people behave and the way that management processes can work and how things can actually work an effective and an efficient way that I hadn't thought about before. And this I read many years ago. Um, so it's something that I started out when I went into business in trying to understand, when I started doing consulting, what does it really mean to be a consultant? So before I got into my consulting gig, I read their book about what they really are talking about. So these are my favorite books. You asked, and you caught me off guard, but I hope you guys didn't mind seeing an empty mirror behind me and getting me to get some books out for you guys to look at.
That's really kind of Maya. So let me see if we have any questions. There was a question on fancy cut diamond. Somebody had asked. Guys, if you have any questions, so please be free to ask Maya.
By the way, if y'all are on this and you're looking at potential organizations to look at, the Responsible Jewelry Council is something that I believe every organization should be going through and getting into, as if you're a jewelry manufacturer, if you're a designer, if you're a whole, it depends on how you are on how they charge for you being a part of RJC. But you have every major who's a part of our RJC, but you also have very few, very small groups, even like individual people who own their own design studio and design company who become a part of it. It really helps kind of take our industry to a different level. So I'd highly recommend things like RJC and I can't say more about the SGDs, the Sustainable Development Goals, which really it's something that I think we all, as individuals and organizations, should be focusing on to be able to get rid of poverty and hunger and really focus on environmental changes in that are happening today. Very, very important to consider. So if people can actually just start with at least one of the 17 goals of the SGDs, start. It's one step ahead. You know, it makes things much more effective and better.
For sure, Mahiar. So guys,
And don't forget Uni.Diamonds.
oh yeah, never.
Log in, register, work with us.
For sure, Mahiar.
Africa Diamond Council sends we send y'all love back to you, mate.
Thank you. So with that, Mahiar, something that you would like to share before we wrap it up, some piece of.
No, I first of all, I mean, lastly, I guess, I want to say, stay healthy, be safe. I know that this is very difficult times for everyone around the world. I believe that things will start getting better and better sometime in mid next year. That's what we're forecasting as a company.
Right.
It will take till then until, you know, something comes out that allows people to actually really be able to maneuver and move and go around and do things. So until then, you know, take care of yourselves, your families, and be safe. And if you do need diamonds in your local location, log into Uni.Diamonds, and we're more than happy to help support you in whatever way that we can. And thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to those who actually logged in and gave me a chance to talk about diamonds and why I'm so passionate about them and what I believe about this.
You know, trust me, Marino, like while you were talking, I could feel the passion in each and every word of yours. I could just feel so much of love and the energy and the zest for the entire industry. So with that, Mahiar, thank you so much for giving us time, and thank you so much for sharing all your wonderful stories. Diamonds are here for to stay, and you know they are like they will always be a symbol of love and commitment.
I couldn't agree more and couldn't be said better. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for joining.
Yes. Thanks, Mahiar. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.